Welcome to your Weld County School District 6 School Board meeting. It's Monday, April 11th. This meeting is now in order. Will you join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Brea.
Mr. DeWitt?
Present.
Mr. Hafele?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Mr. Hall is excused this evening.
Mr. Lydiak?
Present.
Ms. Pappas?
Present.
Dr. Richard?
Present.
Mrs. Solis?
Present.
6 members are present.
Thank you. This agenda point is the Board of Education President's announcements, and I have several, one of which is to remind or to introduce to people that we have a new mission, and several points under that mission includes some key terms that we want to focus on and that we pay attention to in the operation of this school district. The terms are engage, empower, and inspire, and given any week, we have plenty of examples of inspirational events in the school district, of things that help our students and our staff to feel engaged, and certainly the opportunities to feel inspired. So we hit all three of those marks tonight. I want to mention 5 Daniels Scholarship winners: Hernan Dominguez, Javier Adrian Lopez, Crystal Garcia Hernandez, Elizabeth Garcia Hernandez, and Alex Michelle Davini. All of those are exceptional examples of inspiring students in our district who are receiving that special scholarship called the Daniels Fund Scholarship. Also wanted to mention Mr. Steve Birch from Central High School contacted me and reminded me that they had about 107 students participating from Central in the recent History Day competition at UNC. And that squad brought the top 3 spots from that competition, making them eligible for state competition. So to Mr. Birch and Mr. Stearns and all those who participated in that, we certainly want to say congratulations. Tonight we pay attention to Dr. Pilch through some of her efforts in the community town hall meeting by phone. And I kind of want to call it a school assembly or something, but they called it a town hall meeting, and several hundred people participated in that opportunity to share their thoughts with the school board, and we're excited about that. Another little bit of an inspiration is recognition tonight about the actions of a community member who helped out a District 6 employee in need. So there's something to stick around for tonight, or to stay by the TV in case you haven't already seen it in the agenda. The next item for consideration is the hearing of persons desiring to speak before the Board of Education. And I have identified just one individual, Brian Dunbar, who is president of our Support Staff Association. And Brian, I'm going to let you come up here in a kind of a secretive fashion. I'm not going to identify the reason for your coming to the podium, but welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, President DeWitt, Dr. Pilch, and members of the board. I would just like to be here for the classified staff. And as the president of classified staff, we are going to recognize somebody, and they're going to be getting our Star Grabber recognition. And how we came up with Star Grabbers, we are always reaching for the stars, and we're actually grabbing them with this award. So, Dr. Pilch, would you like to come up here for a second?
The prize, kind of nice.
As classified staff, we'd like to thank you for being in our sites, coming out and getting to know people, and continuing to support us in all of your ways. And for that, we are asking you to please accept the Star Grabber Recognition Award.
Wow. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Dr. Pilch, this won't happen every week,
Wow.
but Brian, how wonderful. Thank you very much.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations. The next item on the agenda is the work session report. Ms. Bria?
Board of Education President Roger DeWitt began the work session with open comments from board members regarding the events they've attended and news from the community that has been shared with them. Mr. DeWitt reviewed the board calendar and upcoming events and took input from board members regarding board school visits for the 16-17 school year. Superintendent Dr. Deirdre Pilch and Steve Dobo of Zero Dropouts presented on the graduation initiative work in District 6. The initiative is to reduce the dropout rate, increase the on-time graduation rate, and increase post-secondary through early interventions. Dr. Pilch discussed the work that has been done in the district previously. Mr. Dobo discussed the history of the research that has been done on dropout prevention. Dr. Pilch reviewed the current system of tiered interventions in place for students. She then discussed the targeted and intensive intervention work that has started this year and what the high schools have implemented, such as flexible course scheduling, restructuring credit recovery, enhancing advisory, intentional relationships, and ninth grade intervention programs. There will also be a redesign of Engage Academy, additional math options and supports, aligning grant proposals to support students, and increasing access to the Greeley-Evans Alternative Program. Greeley Central High School Principal Mark Cousins spoke about the success students have had at his school this year. Dr. Pilch discussed the new 7-9 alternative school that will be housed at the Cameron Building and the criteria for students who may attend. She talked about the plans to increase social-emotional supports, trauma training and mental health aid, increase parent engagement at elementary and middle levels, increase career and technical education and post-secondary enrollment in high school, and a systemic continuum of service and support. Dr. Pilch and Chief Financial Officer Megan Sponsler reviewed a draft budget for the 2016-17 school year with proposed student enrollment. Dr. Pilch then discussed the timeline for the possible ballot measure. Board members had time for discussion and questions, and that concluded the work session.
Thank you very much. The next item is the Superintendent's Report, the award-winning Dr. Pilch.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. And again, to Brian and the Classified Council, thank you. You did catch me off guard and have touched me with your Star Grabber Award. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to serve you all and to be your superintendent and to be there for you in your buildings and to help provide you with the support and the other needs that you have so that you can do the important work, which is be on the front line with students every single day. So thank you to all of you, and thank you for the recognition. I just have a couple of announcements. As Bernie mentioned, we received a report on the updated projected budget for 2016-17, and as my board members are aware, and many of you in the community are aware, we've been working very hard to reallocate resources in an effort to bring our 2016-17 budget in balanced. So we're looking a full year from now of where we'll be at the end of that school year. So we have a draft of that budget that we're beginning to propose to our Board of Education, and it does include multiple administrative reductions as well as other reductions, and in order to reallocate dollars to really put those dollars closer to the folks who are working most closely with students, and that's our teachers and our support staff here in the district. You know, those changes won't come without a little bit of pain. That means there'll be a little bit less service in some areas of the district, but you know what? I have a great team here, and we've been working really hard, and we're going to make this work, and we'll bring you a budget that I think that when you look at it in late May and early June, that it's a budget that you can support and that you believe is sustainable at least for one more year. So I wanted to mention that. And then the Citizens Advisory Committee for considering a possible ballot measure for the fall of 16. We continue to do the work. Mr. DeWitt, you mentioned the town hall that we conducted yesterday. I want to recognize those staff and community members who supported that telephone town hall. Did any of you in the audience get a call to participate, or did any of you participate in it? Oh, I see some little hands going up. That's good. So over 600 folks actually participated in the call at some point in the hour-long conversation, so that's pretty exciting. But we couldn't have done this without the support of some of the district-level staff who helped to organize us and keep us coordinated throughout the preparation for the town hall as well as throughout the town hall. And I want to recognize those folks, and they are Mandy Hydock and Megan Sponsler from our Financial Services Department, Teresa Myers, our Communications Director, John Gates, our Security Director, who I had him stepping a little bit out of his role as Security Director, and he served as a screener for the callers who came in. And then Bob Billings also, who served as a screener. And then some of our building principals came out, gave up their Sunday to be a part of that panel. I want to recognize them, Holly Bressler, Jesse Tiarina, and Mark Thompson. And then the two community members who supported us, Logan Richardson and Steve LaForest. I mean, they were all just smashing. They were amazing, and we couldn't have pulled it off without them, and so I am forever indebted to them. And then just want to announce the next two community input sessions that we have for our community members and staff members to give input on the possibility of a ballot measure for the fall of 16. And those meetings, there's one this Wednesday evening, the 13th, at the Community Center in Evans, and then there's one next Tuesday evening, April 19th, at the Farr Library in Greeley. Both of those sessions will begin at 6 o'clock and will be concluded by 7:30. We'll have Spanish translation available at both. There's also a community survey that we would ask all of you to go in and complete. You can get to that through our district website. We have over 400 folks who have responded to that survey, and we're hoping to get even a greater response on that survey. So go in and provide your feedback on that survey. And then finally, next week, our high school students, our 10th and 11th graders, will be testing on Wednesday morning at all of our high schools. 10th graders will be taking the PSAT, and our 11th graders will be taking the ACT. So on those mornings, our other high schools get a chance to sleep a little late, but then they'll come in at 11 a.m., and we'll do a condensed schedule for the remainder of the day on those 2 days. So we're looking forward to our students reporting bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to take the ACT and the PSAT at all of our high schools. So thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Pilch. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. That is an action item. I'd accept a motion at this time.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Comment, question? Roll call, Ms. Brea?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. The next item is the approval of the consent agenda. This is also an action item requiring a motion. That motion is printed on page 6.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve items as presented on the consent agenda and authorize the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments, questions? Roll call, Ms. Brea?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Ms. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
Thank you very much. The next item is the Classified Employee of the Year. Dr. Pilch?
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. And so now I understand why Mr. Dunbar is not having me call him up to give this, because he's afraid he'll be scolded for giving me an award at the podium, I think. But we're going to let Miss Ricky Stromke, who is the Vice President of our Classified Council, come forward and talk about our Classified Employee of the Year, Lynn Van Buskirk. So Ricky and Lynn, I see you coming forward. And Ricky, I am anticipating you're going to tell us a little bit about Lynn and about the selection of her for the Classified Employee of the Year award.
That I am, thank you. President DeWitt, Dr. Pilch, and esteemed members of the Board of Education. My name is Ricky Strumke, and I am the Vice President of the Classified Council. I am here tonight to introduce you to this year's winner of the Outstanding Classified Employee of the Year. This year, there were 38 nominations for Classified Employee of the Year, with several people receiving more than one nomination. This year, I'm sorry, I lost my place. This year's winner is among 23 nominees who were nominated by various people who they came into contact with throughout the year. The nominees include paraprofessionals, office managers, building managers, warehouse managers, and secretaries, to name a few. The winner of this year's Classified Employee of the Year is Lynn Van Buskirk. Lynn has been with the district for 36 years. She started at Madison Elementary as an instructional assistant in March of 1980. About 7 years later, she transferred to the office as an assistant. In 1990, she was promoted to office manager and has been in that job ever since. She has seen 6 principals, many staff members, kids, and parents walk through the doors of Madison. She told me that many people look at their job as a job, but she sees it as an extension of her life. It is her home away from home. They are like an extended family. Her everyday family consists of her husband of 52 years, Tom, their 3 sons, Eric, Brian, and Kurt, and their 7 grandchildren. Lynn said the atmosphere at Madison is different every day. She said most days are never the same. She never knows what will come through the door, and that's what makes her job so exciting. She loves the variety of her job. Lynn was nominated by Carol Gustafson. Carol tells us no matter what position you have at a school, Lynn would be an outstanding person to whom you could pattern your work ethic. Following the example and observing her work ethic will result in a successful career. Her demeanor in the office has a calming effect and adds to the atmosphere of family. She has consistently adapted to new personalities and policies with grace and cheerfulness. On behalf of the Classified Council, I would like to congratulate this year's Classified Employee of the Year, Lynn Van Buskirk. Thank you. Would you like to say something? It's your turn.
Well, I would like to thank everybody who is a classified employee. We have a very dedicated, large group of classified employees, and it was an honor to be selected by them as my peers. Madison has been a wonderful place to work. I keep coming back because I love it so much. And the staff, the principals, every one of them, we've had great principals. We have a wonderful, wonderful staff. And without them, I wouldn't be here. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Lynn, I just want to say a few words. I had the pleasure of working with Lynn at Madison as one of her principals, and I cannot tell you how much she deserves this award. And I just want to reinforce what the classified staff has said about her. And I just want to say a personal congratulations. I'm so excited for you. So, yes.
And thank you for 36 years, and how about 36 more? We've got a lot more work to do. Thank you so very much, and congratulations.